Oneness is probably a term you have heard thrown around quite a lot on my channel and also many others as well. But do you actually understand what it means at its core and what its implications are? So oneness is a deep sense of connection and identification with all things that exist. When you have a oneness experience, which can be achieved through meditation, yoga, psychedelics, or occasionally just randomly, your awareness is no longer split into a subject, you, and an object, everything else. What you perceive is just pure experience with no divisions whatsoever. In this state, your ego has been transcended and you now experience things as the way they truly are, rather than what your ego projects onto them. Our ego perceives the world in dualities, self versus other, good versus bad, right versus wrong, black versus white. But in a oneness experience, these dualities break down, and what is now experienced is non-duality. Non-duality is just another word for oneness, and non-dual means not two, so therefore everything is one. So this literally means in an absolute sense that I am you and you are me. It says that there is only one true subject in the entire universe, and what I'll refer to that as in the video is the universal self. And what the universal self is just pure, infinite, formless consciousness. It takes on whatever its container is. It is simply just pure awareness, with absolutely no attachments to anything whatsoever. And that same awareness that runs through me, that makes me aware that I am making this video right now, is also the same exact awareness that runs through you, that makes you aware that you are watching this video right now. The only difference between what I would call you and me is our ego minds. But the whole point of oneness and non-duality is realizing that the ego is just an illusion, and that in an absolute sense, we are the same because we share the same nature, consciousness. So to put this oneness into more perspective, let's say you and your friend, for the pure sake of argument, I'm not telling you to go do this, just ate some mushrooms on a hike. And let's say you both ate enough to induce a full-blown death of the ego. You will no longer view the world through the partitions that the ego mind generates. If you're looking at a view with some mountains in the distance, your mind isn't thinking, oh, here I am in this body, and then right here is my friend, and then here are some trees, and then all the way over there are those pretty mountains. You won't think that way at all. Think of the ego as a bubble, and when you're on the hike, on the mushrooms, that bubble pops, and all those concepts you had of those things fly out the window, and what is now being experienced is pure isness, things as they truly are, without your ego projections on them. Here is a visual to help you understand it better. So here are you and your friend on the hike. The circle around you and your friend represents the bubble that is the ego. When you're inside a bubble, you can still see through it, but things are a bit distorted. You won't see them as they actually are. And that's exactly what the ego does. It distorts reality so you don't see it for what it actually is. Now when you're fully in your everyday ego mind, you project the ideas of trees being trees onto trees, mountains being mountains onto mountains, and your friend being your friend onto your friend. Now when you take the mushrooms, this ego bubble pops, and along with the popping of the bubble comes the letting go of all these concepts: tree, mountain, friend. But most importantly, the concept of you is let go. And now at this point, you're experiencing reality the way it is from a pure and raw state of consciousness. And that's exactly the way your friend is perceiving it as well. The illusion of ego, the illusion of separateness is completely gone at this point. Everything is uniform, everything is one, you experiencing your true nature. You are literally God looking at itself through the sensual lens of a human. And then slowly, as the mushrooms wear off, the bubble returns and all these concepts come back, and then soon enough, you're back to normal. Now this might just sound like some lovey-dovey hippie shit. Oh, we're all one, haha, it's all love, we're all one. But that's not the case at all. The implications of oneness go much, much deeper than that. In fact, the implications of oneness can be brutal for you if you're not ready for it, which is why I advise you to tread lightly when getting into psychedelics and spirituality. So when you're trying to integrate oneness into your everyday life, lots and lots of painful difficulties can come up. Non-duality and oneness means that you are everything that has ever existed and will exist. Consciousness does not have any boundaries. The boundaries are only illusions created by the ego. So that friend you took the mushroom hike with last week, who is now at his house watching TV, and now you're at your house watching this video, there still is no true separation between you two. It seems like it because you now are perceiving the world through the lens of the ego, but because it's just an illusion, you aren't actually separate. It just seems like you are. And with oneness, you must incorporate everything that exists. So that literally means you were Adolf Hitler. And that's the hardest thing to come to terms with about non-duality and oneness. You must realize that in addition to everything pretty and nice in this world, you are also everything ugly and disgusting in this world. And you must love that. You will be every Hitler and also every Jew in the concentration camps. You will be every serial killer and every person killed by them. You will be every rapist and every person they ever raped. You will be every ugly person and also all the people that recoil in disgust by their ugliness. You will be every slave, and you'll also be every slave master. This is the toughest thing to come to terms with about oneness. It can be painful. You may deny it for a while, but if you've had these cosmic consciousness experiences and have been with me throughout the course of the entire video, and maybe you've had a few of these experiences yourself, you know it's true. You know you are everything. And because we are all one, we are nothing separate from God. We are God. God is everything. What this current lifetime that we are in is just God, which is the pure awareness, the universal self, experiencing itself through our specific ego lens. And we as God will experience every single lens there is to possibly experience, even the most evil, most gruesome, most horrible, and most tragic lifetimes there are to possibly live. While this is difficult to come to terms with, simply having this knowledge is already a first step in making this world a more loving and more conscious place. To realize oneness is to have a spiritual awakening. Oneness is literally the essence of what a spiritual awakening is. You realize your ego is an illusion, and you understand your utter interconnectedness and sameness with everything that exists. And now that you have this knowledge, now that you have spiritually awoken, you can now begin to permeate love on a whole new level than before. Because you realize those millions upon millions of people in poverty are you can make your life's work to help them. Because you realize those people who are being exploited for their labor and have to work long and hard hours just to make enough money to survive are you can be an advocate of reform, an advocate of minimum wage increase, and an advocate of complete systemic change. Because you realize that practically all the problems in the world stem from the division the ego generates, you'll naturally want to help people awaken. And that's exactly what I want to do with my life. I want people to be aware of the illusion that is their ego, and I want them to have their lives put into perspective in relation to the greater whole. You really think we're just here to have sex, eat good food, and make as much money as we possibly can, and live the most luxurious life we possibly can? Hell fucking no, man. We're here to become more aware, to become more conscious, to become more loving, and spread that love throughout the entire universe. The ego is an illusion. We are at a unique point in time where more and more people are starting to realize this. Now imagine if everyone realized this, how much better of a place the world would be. And there's a lot of speculation. People say the Great Awakening of humanity is coming. It could be true. I think it is true. People are waking up. What do you think? I also want to make it clear that simply having this knowledge is not enough. You gotta embody it in your everyday life, in your conversations, in your actions, in your daily habits, and in your life's work. In fact, not embodying can lead to some problems with your ego, and that is exactly what has happened to me. I have not embodied enough, not nearly enough. While I have much more knowledge and understanding about spirituality than I did before I started my journey, how I act in everyday life is really not much different at all. In fact, it's so much not different that I criticize myself every single day for not walking the talk. I still eat shit food a lot. I'm not present in a lot of my conversations. I don't always look at people when they're talking to me, and I feel that kind of comes off as a bit rude and arrogant. I'm not loving enough. I'm still addicted to porn. And I still haven't even told my parents about this channel. So yeah, I'm treating people the way I know they do not want to be treated, and I'm even treating myself the way I do not want to treat myself. Embodying the knowledge is so difficult, and it's truly heartbreaking when you have a bad habit that you know is bad and you just can't stop doing it. So all of my channel, everything I've ever preached, has pretty much been all knowledge and no embodiment. And without embodiment, knowledge is useless. So in the future, you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me and my face in front of the screen and getting to know who I am better, and me talking about my own embodiment and how you can do so as well. And I'll be attempting to find a union between this knowledge and this embodiment. But yeah, that's really all I got for this video. I think it's one of my best yet. So give it a like please, and comment for that algorithm boost. If you wish to support my work at a higher level and have a few dollars to shell out, I do have a Patreon where I run a book club on there where we read about a book once a month, and I do have other tiers as well. And that's all I got for today, guys, so have a great day and peace.